Ethan always had that damn smile. The kind that made people trust him before he even spoke. I used to envy it, then I convinced myself I didn't need it. "Morning, Danny," he said one Saturday, pouring himself coffee in my kitchen like it was his own place. "You and Clara sleeping again?" "Yeah," I said, rubbing my eyes. "We had a late night. She was finishing those reports for her firm." Ethan chuckled. "You sure that's all you two were doing?" "Funny," I muttered, but he grinned wide enough to make Mom proud. He had that way of teasing without sounding cruel. Clara walked in wearing my shirt. "You two already talking sports?" "Always," Ethan said. "Danny here still thinks his team's got a chance this season." She laughed, sliding past him for the sugar jar. "He's loyal." "That's what I love about him," he smiled at her. Too long, too warmly. I noticed, then looked away. Later that day, I drove with Ethan to our parents' house. He handled the music, blasting his favorite old rock tracks. "You ever think about running the family business?" he asked suddenly. "Not really." "I'm fine where I am," I said. "Still designing trucks, huh? You've always been the quiet one." "I like quiet," I said. "Not everyone needs the spotlight," he smirked. Guess I was born under it, I didn't respond. I'd heard it all my life, from Mom, from Dad, from every relative who compared us like we were trophies on a shelf. At dinner, Mom beamed. Ethan's new proposal just got approved. The board loved his presentation. I clapped politely. "Congrats, man," Ethan winked. "Thanks. Maybe next time I'll get you on the project, too." Dad chuckled. "If your brother can keep up," the table laughed. I smiled because that's what I was supposed to do. Clara reached under the table and squeezed my hand, but even that felt like pity. After dessert, Mom insisted we take family photos. Clara stood between us, Ethan's arm resting casually on her shoulder. "Closer, boys," Mom said. "You're brothers, not strangers." Ethan leaned in. I forced a grin. The flash went off. I swear his smile looked real. Mine didn't. Back home, Clara brushed her hair in front of the mirror. "You okay?" she asked softly. "I'm fine. You were quiet tonight." "I'm always quiet," I said. She turned. "No, you're distant. There's a difference." I looked at her reflection, those tired eyes, that forced calm. "I just hate the way they talk to me. Like I'm some second version of him," she sighed. "They don't mean it that way, don't they?" She came closer. "Ethan's just confident. You don't have to compete." "I'm not," I said, sharper than I meant. "I just want to be seen as me." She touched my arm. "You are," but her tone wavered. Maybe she didn't even believe it. A week later, Ethan stopped by again. "Clara around?" he asked, stepping in without waiting. "She's at the store." "Oh." He lingered, eyes roaming the living room. "You've done well, man. Cozy place. You two seem happy." "Yeah," I said. "We are." He nodded, then grinned. "You ever think she's settled?" I froze. "What?" "Relax," he laughed. "I'm joking. You're just different from her type." "What's her type?" He smirked. "You know, ambitious, outgoing like me." I stared at him. He raised his hands. "I'm kidding, Danny. Don't get all serious." I forced a laugh, but my chest burned. That night, Clara and I sat on the couch watching a movie. She got a text. She smiled faintly, typed something back, and locked her phone fast. "Who's that?" I asked. "Work stuff. On a Sunday?" She sighed. "Danny, don't start." "I'm not starting," I said quietly. "Just asking. You're getting paranoid again." "Again?" She muted the TV. "You've been on edge for weeks. It's exhausting. Maybe because my brother keeps showing up like he owns the place." "He's family," she said sharply. "Stop acting jealous." "I'm not jealous." "Then stop looking for problems." I didn't answer. The silence after that felt heavy, like the room was judging me. A few days later, Mom called. "Ethan says you've been quiet lately. Everything all right between you two?" "Yeah," I lied. "Everything's fine," she hesitated. "You should be more like him, Daniel. Confident. He always lifts people up." "Sure," I said. "He's great." When I hung up, I sat there staring at the wall. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was just too small for their world. But when Clara came home that night, laughing at something on her phone before slipping it into her purse, I felt something twist in my chest. "Who was that?" I asked. "Just Ethan," she said easily. "He sent a meme. Why?" I smiled tightly. "No reason." She kissed my cheek and walked away. I stayed still, the smile fading. If I had trusted my gut that night, maybe I wouldn't have lost everything. Who keeps texting you lately? I asked one night while Clara stirred pasta at the stove. No one, she said without turning around. Work chat. Work's funny at midnight, she glanced back.
You don't trust me now?
I didn't say that. You implied it. I bit my tongue. The smell of garlic filled the kitchen, but it didn't cover the bitterness between us. The next morning at work, Grace noticed my silence. You've been weirdly quiet lately, she said, sliding her chair beside mine. Just tired. She leaned closer. No. You look like someone who found something he wishes he didn't. I managed a dry smile. You ever think maybe you're too observant? Always. That's why you like talking to me? I didn't say I liked it. She laughed softly. Then stop coming to my desk every morning. Her tone was light, but her eyes were kind. She could always tell when something in me cracked. That weekend, Clara asked, You're coming to the barbecue, right? Ethan's bringing new ribs. Wouldn't miss it, I said, though I already dreaded it. At the party, laughter drowned out my thoughts. Dad grilled steaks while Mom bragged about Ethan's latest project. Clara stood beside him, laughing at something he whispered. I caught his gaze once, brief, sharp, then gone. Grace texted me mid-barbecue. You okay? Just family stuff, I replied. Don't let them get in your head. Too late, I thought. They already had. After dinner, Ethan came over with a beer. You've been quiet, bro. You good? Yeah, I said. Just work stress. You and Clara all right? Why? He grinned. You've got that suspicious look again. Remember high school? You always thought someone was out to get you. Maybe I was right, I said, half joking. He laughed. You're still dramatic as hell. Clara called his name from across the yard. He turned instantly. I watched his face soften in a way that made my stomach twist. See you later, Danny, he said, walking away. I didn't answer. That night, I opened my journal for the first time in months. The words came out messy. I love her, I think, but I don't know who she talks to when she smiles at her phone. Maybe it's just stress. Maybe it's me. The ink bled a little. So did I. A few evenings later, I came home early. Clara's car hood was open, Ethan standing beside it with a wrench. Didn't know you were here, I said, stepping out of my car. Clara looked up. Oh, Ethan was helping. The engine light came on, Ethan smirked. You should have called me sooner, bro. Would have saved her the panic. I can fix it myself. She already called me, he said, wiping his hands on a rag. Old habits, Clara smiled nervously. He was closer, that's all. Sure, I said, though my chest felt like it was caving in. He handed her the keys, their fingers brushing. She laughed, light, familiar. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard in weeks. I stood there too long, staring. Ethan caught my eye. For a second, I thought I saw guilt. Maybe amusement. I couldn't tell which was worse. That night, Clara came into the living room. You've been staring at that wine glass for 10 minutes, she said, just thinking. About what? Whether I'm losing you, I said quietly. She froze. Daniel? Don't, I said. If it's not true, tell me. She sat beside me, resting her hand on mine. I'm still here. Are you happy here? Her silence answered for her. I don't know anymore, she whispered. I nodded slowly. Then say that. Don't pretend. I'm not pretending, she said, but her voice cracked. Then what are you doing? She looked away, trying to remember why we stopped laughing. I didn't have an answer. Later that night, Noah, my neighbor, knocked on the door. Hey man, sorry if this is weird, he said. I saw Ethan's car earlier. Everything okay? Yeah, I said quickly. Just fixing something, he hesitated. He was here a while? I know, Noah nodded. All right, just checking. When he left, I stared at the dark driveway. The next morning, Grace found me staring at my coffee. You didn't sleep. Not really. You still writing? Yeah, good, she said softly. Better to bleed on paper than on people. I almost smiled. That's poetic. It's true. She paused, studying me. You think she's lying? I think, I said slowly. When love starts dying, you don't hear it. You feel it. Like silence in a crowded room. Grace didn't answer. She didn't have to. The rain started before sunset. Heavy drops against the kitchen window, the kind that make you want to stay quiet. Clara was upstairs getting ready for bed when her phone buzzed on the counter. I didn't mean to look. I swear I didn't. But the name lit the screen like a slap. Ethan, another buzz. A preview. I miss you already. My chest went cold. I stared at the phone until my hand started shaking. I shouldn't open it. I knew that. But I did. The screen unlocked with her birthday. Messages poured out like poison. Can't stop thinking about last weekend. We'll tell him soon. You looked beautiful at Mom's. Dozens of them. Love notes, pictures. One of them together at the cabin. The same weekend they said they were fixing the guest room. I felt something break. Something that doesn't make noise when it dies. The stairs creaked. Clara's voice floated down. You still awake? I froze. Then said, yeah. She came into the kitchen in her robe. What are you doing with my phone? My throat was dry. Reading. Her smile fell. Daniel, how long? I asked. She stopped moving. Don't do this. How long, Clara? She looked at the floor. It wasn't supposed to happen. Wasn't supposed to happen? I laughed, the sound sharp. That's what you say when you spill coffee, not when you sleep with my brother. Please, she whispered. Keep your voice down. Why? Scared the neighbors will hear the truth? Tears filled her eyes. I didn't mean to fall for him. The words hit harder than anything. So you did fall. She nodded once, tiny, like maybe if she moved small enough it would hurt less. I gripped the counter. Was it the whole time? While I was defending him to everyone? No, it started after the party. The one where he toasted to my promotion? She covered her mouth. I can't explain it. Try. You were distant, she said quickly. Always tired, always quiet. He listened. I stared at her. So you traded vows for attention? That's not fair. No, what's not fair is finding out my brother was inside my marriage while I was stupid enough to trust him. She flinched. Stop it! Did you love him? Her silence answered. I felt dizzy. You could have left me first. You could have told me you weren't happy. I didn't want to hurt you. I laughed again, bitter, broken. Congratulations! You failed spectacularly, lightning flashed. For a second, the room went white. I saw her face, regret and something else. Maybe shame. Maybe still love. I didn't know anymore. She said softly. He wants to tell everyone. He thinks it's time. My stomach turned. He thinks it's time? What am I, a meeting notice? She reached for me. Daniel, please. I never stopped caring about you. Then why him? Her eyes searched mine. Because he saw me. I stepped back. I saw you. I married you. But you stopped feeling me, she said, voice shaking. I was invisible, Daniel. He made me feel alive again. I pressed my palms to my face. Do you even hear yourself? Tears slipped down her cheeks. I'm sorry. Don't say sorry, I said. You don't get to apologize and keep the good memories, too. I'll leave tonight, she whispered. I just need time to figure out what I want. What you want, I snapped. You already chose. She turned away, trembling. Please don't hate me. I don't have the energy to hate you, I said quietly. I just wish I'd mattered enough for you to think twice. She picked up her phone, clutching it like a lifeline. I'll stay at my sister's. Wherever, I muttered. At the door, she stopped. He didn't mean to hurt you either. I almost laughed again. Tell him congratulations. He finally beat me at something. When the door closed, the sound barely reached me over the rain. I don't remember how long I stood there. Maybe minutes. Maybe hours. The house felt hollow, her perfume still in the air, the ghost of her voice echoing down the hallway. I called Ethan. It rang once, then voicemail. I tried again. Nothing. Coward, I whispered. I poured a drink, hands shaking so bad half of it spilled. I sat at the table, staring at the phone screen where their messages still glowed. The words blurred from the tears I refused to let fall. My mind kept repeating one sentence. They both lied to me. I wanted to smash the glass, the phone, everything. Instead, I opened my journal. I thought love was safe because it lived under the same roof. I was wrong. It's the people who hold you closest who cut the deepest. The clock ticked louder than the storm outside. I read their messages again until the words stopped meaning anything. At some point, my phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. Give her space. We didn't plan for it to go this way. I stared at it until the letters blurred. Then I typed back one line. You planned enough. I didn't hit send. I deleted it. The rain outside drowned the sound of my heart breaking. Maybe it was mercy. 2 months. That's how long silence can last before it starts to feel like armor. I hadn't spoken to Ethan or Clara since that night. I'd moved into the small apartment over my office. Gray walls, no warmth. It suited me. Then the phone rang. Ethan's name. I let it ring twice before answering. What do you want? Mom's birthday dinner, he said, voice casual, like we'd just skipped a few weekends. Clara and I are hosting. You should come. It's time to make peace. Peace, I repeated. Is that what we're calling it? He sighed. Daniel, it's been months. Mom's worried. She doesn't want drama. Drama, I said quietly. You mean truth. Please, he said softer. For her, come, I paused. Fine, for Mom. When I hung up, my hands were steady. Too steady. Grace leaned against my office door a few minutes later, coffee in hand. You look like someone just invited you to war. Dinner, I said. Ethan and Clara's place? She blinked. You're not going. I am. Why? Closure. Closure or revenge? I gave her a faint smile. Same destination, different routes, she sighed. You're not ready. I'm exactly ready. The night of the dinner, I drove through the rain again. Fitting, I thought. The same weather that tore my life apart was welcoming me back to the scene of it. The house looked cleaner than I remembered. New curtains, new lights. Her touch, I thought. She always liked fixing things that looked broken. I knocked once. Ethan opened the door. He looked perfect. Same confident grin, same tailored shirt. Danny, he said, like nothing had happened. I didn't shake his hand. Ethan. Clara appeared behind him, hair shorter, smile rehearsed. Daniel, thank you for coming. Wouldn't miss it, I said. Inside, laughter floated from the dining room. Mom and Dad were already there, chatting with Uncle Peter, who always managed to look unimpressed by everything. Danny! Mom said, hugging me tightly. You're too thin. Work, I said. Keeps me busy. Dad gave a curt nod. Good to see you, son. I caught Peter's eyes, calm, steady, observant. You okay? He murmured. Peachy, I said. We sat. The table looked perfect. Candles, wine, too much food. Clara moved gracefully between the seats, pretending not to notice my stare. Ethan carved the roast like a proud host. So, Mom began brightly, Ethan and Clara have been redecorating. The house looks lovely, doesn't it, Daniel? Flawless, I said. Ethan smiled. We've worked hard. Yeah, I said quietly. You two always make a good team. The air tightened. Clara's fork slipped against her plate. Mom blinked. What was that? Nothing, I said. Just agreeing. Grace's words echoed in my head, closure or revenge. I lifted my glass. To Mom, I said, for raising 2 sons. One she's proud of. I let my gaze shift to Ethan. And one she tolerates, Dad frowned. Daniel, I'm just being honest, I said. That's what family dinners are for, right? Ethan's jaw clenched. Let's not start this. Start what? The truth? I leaned back. Funny how that word makes you uncomfortable. Clara's voice was soft. Please, not here. Why not here? I asked. This is where lies usually taste best, between wine and dessert. Uncle Peter's chair creaked. Enough, he said quietly. If there's something that needs saying, say it plain. Mom's eyes darted between us. Boys, Ethan forced a laugh. He's just still upset. Upset? I looked at him. I'm enlightened. Daniel, he said, his voice dropping. Not in front of them, I smiled. You should have thought of that before you brought her to Mom's birthday. Clara stood abruptly. Stop it! The room fell silent, only the sound of rain against glass. Uncle Peter's voice broke the silence. What's he talking about? I met his eyes. Ask Ethan. Ethan's knuckles whitened. It was a mistake. A mistake that lasted months, I said. That's impressive endurance. Dad pushed back his chair. Is this true? Ethan didn't answer. Clara's tears did it for him. Mom gasped softly. Oh God, Uncle Peter exhaled. You've shamed this family. Ethan snapped. Don't lecture me, Peter. I will if no one else will, he said firmly. You betray blood, you rot alone, Clara whispered. Please stop. I stood. No, let it stay. Let them see you both without the masks. Ethan's face hardened. You came here to humiliate us. No, I said. You already did that yourselves. I just brought the mirror. For a moment, no one breathed. Then Ava walked in from the hallway, holding a small wrapped gift. Ethan froze. Ava, I said quietly. Didn't expect to see you. She smiled faintly. Peter invited me. He thought I should return Mom's necklace. She placed the box on the table. You remember, Ethan? The one you promised to fix after you broke it. Ethan's color drained. Ava looked at me. You weren't the first person he lied to. Mom covered her mouth. Oh, Ethan! He looked like he might explode. You set this up, I shrugged. I just accepted your invitation. Uncle Peter stood. Dinner's over. As everyone started moving, Ethan glared at me. You think you've won? I leaned close enough for only him to hear. No, I think you finally lost. I walked out before anyone could stop me. The air outside was cold, the rain steady. I could still hear Mom crying through the walls. For the first time in months, I didn't feel broken. Just empty and free. They thought I'd stay broken. They forgot that silence doesn't mean surrender. Laughter, glasses clinking. For a second, even I could almost believe this family dinner was normal. Mom leaned toward me. See? Feels good having everyone together again, doesn't it? I smiled thinly. Perfect reunion. Across the table, Ethan poured wine like a generous host. Clara sat beside him, her hand brushing his every few minutes. Accidents, she said once. I counted 3 of them. Dad raised his glass. To new beginnings, I lifted mine. Sure. To honesty. Grace sat quietly at the end of the table, pretending to scroll through her phone. She caught my eye once, a silent, "You ready?" I nodded. Mom beamed. Clara dear, this roast is wonderful. Clara smiled. Thank you, Mrs. Hale. Mom, I said lightly, she's your daughter-in-law. Drop the misses. The room froze for half a second. Then Ethan laughed too loudly. Old habits. I leaned back, feeling the calm inside me stretch tight as glass. So, Daniel, Dad asked, how's work? Busy, I sipped my wine. But it's about to slow down. I'm planning a little presentation tonight, Clara blinked. Presentation? Just something I put together for Mom's birthday. Mom clasped her hands. Oh, Daniel, you didn't have to. I wanted to. Ethan chuckled. He's always the sentimental one. Yeah, I said. I guess I am. After dessert, I stood. Everyone still has their drinks? Good, Ethan grinned. You're actually doing this? Absolutely. I took the remote from the counter, pointed it at the television. I made a slideshow. Memories, good times, family moments. You'll love it. Grace looked down to hide a smile. The first few pictures appeared. Childhood photos, vacations, our parents' anniversary. Laughter filled the room again. Then came the texts. One by one, messages flashed across the screen. Clara, I can't stop thinking about you. Ethan, we'll tell him soon. Clara, promise? Ethan, always. The room went dead silent. Mom's fork clattered. What is this? I kept my voice even. Just part of the show. Ethan shot up. Turn it off! Clara's face drained of color. Daniel, please? No, I said. You two worked hard on this story. Everyone deserves to see it. Dad's eyes darted between us. Daniel, explain. I looked at him. Those are your golden son's words. And your perfect daughter-in-law's. Ethan grabbed the remote. I stepped between him and the TV. Touch it, and I swear I'll send every screenshot to the family group chat. Grace quietly lifted her phone. Recording, Mom whispered, Ethan. Tell me this isn't true, he stammered. It's taken out of context. Context? I laughed once, sharp and hollow. Tell them about the hotel receipts. The weekends you said were work trips. Tell them about the bracelet she lost in your car. Clara's tears came fast. I didn't mean for it to happen, I nodded. You said that last time, too. Ethan's face flushed red. You're humiliating yourself. No, I said softly. I'm done being the one humiliated. Dad rose slowly. Ethan, answer him. Ethan rubbed his temple. It was a mistake. We didn't want to hurt anyone. Mom's voice cracked. You slept with your brother's wife. The silence that followed could have cut steel. I looked at Clara. All those nights I waited for you to come home. Were you with him? She couldn't meet my eyes. Sometimes. My throat tightened, but my tone stayed level. Thanks for confirming. Ethan reached toward me. Daniel, I stepped back. Don't. You've taken enough. Grace finally spoke. Guess that's the kind of love story people never post online. Ethan glared. You shouldn't even be here. She's my guest, I said. Someone had to witness truth. Mom sank into her chair, whispering prayers. Dad just stared at Ethan like he didn't recognize his own son. Uncle Peter exhaled. I told you both, honor matters. Now look, Ethan's voice rose. This is private. Private? I repeated. You made it my life. I'm just returning it to the rightful owners, Clara sobbed. Please stop, I turned to her. I did stop months ago. You're still going. Grace ended the recording, slipped her phone into her pocket. That should be enough. Ethan slammed his fist on the table. You think you can ruin me? I met his eyes. No. You ruined yourself the day you called it love. No one moved. The slideshow looped back to a photo of the three of us smiling at my wedding. Perfect frozen ghosts, I whispered. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't break anything. I just watched you fall apart under the weight of your own lies. Mom started crying again. Dad turned away, Ethan's voice cracked. Daniel, wait! I walked to the door, grabbed my coat. Enjoy the rest of dinner. He called my name once more, desperate, but I didn't look back. Outside, the air was cold, almost clean. Rain slicked the driveway, reflecting the house's warm lights like a stage after the play ends. Grace followed me out. You okay? I breathed out slowly. No, but I will be, she nodded. You planned that too perfectly. Planning kept me sane. And now? Now, I said, starting the car. I let the silence finish what truth began. As we drove away, I saw Ethan step onto the porch. He looked small for the first time in his life. I didn't feel joy. Just the hollow piece of balance restored. The rain began again, gentle and rhythmic, washing the glass clean. Truth had been served cold, and everyone finally tasted it. 3 weeks passed before my phone stopped vibrating every hour. Clara's messages filled the screen. Can we talk? Please answer me. I'm sorry I didn't delete them. I just stopped opening them, Grace noticed first. You still keeping her on red? She asked over coffee at my desk. Feels easier than deleting, I said. Closure by torture, she murmured. Healthy. She doesn't deserve quick forgiveness. She doesn't deserve space in your head either. I gave a thin smile. Working on that. News traveled faster than guilt. Dad called one morning. Your brother's gone, he said flatly. Left town. Your mother can't even say his name. I didn't ask where Ethan went. And Clara? She's no longer with the company. HR let her go yesterday. Your mother cried for her too. Of course she did. Mom always tried to love the broken parts of everyone. When I hung up, the apartment felt quieter than usual. No music, no clock ticking. Just the sound of air that didn't know what to fill anymore. That night, Grace came by with takeout. You look like you've been talking to ghosts, she said. Maybe I have. She handed me noodles. Eat before you start philosophizing again. We ate in silence for a while. Then she asked, do you feel better? After everything? Better's not the word, I said. Just lighter, like someone turned off the noise. That's something. Yeah, I said, but silence isn't peace. Not yet, she leaned back. Peace takes practice. You sound like my therapist. I sound like someone who's watched you drown for months. I laughed quietly. Sorry for the view, she smiled faintly. It's getting better. Around midnight, she found the courage to ask what everyone else wanted to. If Clara showed up right now, what would you say? I thought about it. Nothing. Silence hurts more than words. She taught me that. Grace nodded slowly. That's dark. It's honest. She studied me for a moment. You know revenge doesn't heal you, right? It wasn't revenge. It was truth served cold. Same temperature, she said softly. I looked at her across the couch. Then maybe I needed the chill. A few days later, I saw Ethan's name flash on my phone. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail anyway, breathing first, then his voice smaller than I remembered. I messed up. I know that. You were always the better man, Daniel. I just didn't want to admit it. I deleted it halfway through. Redemption wasn't mine to grant. Grace and I started walking home together after work. No labels, no promises. Just company that didn't demand anything. One night, she stopped under the streetlight. "You ever think about starting over?" "Every morning," I said. "With someone new?" I shrugged. "Maybe someday. Right now, I'm still learning to stand without shaking." She smiled. "Standing's a good start." We kept walking. Her shoulder brushed mine once. Not accident, not invitation, just a quiet understanding. A week later, I finally opened Clara's last message. "You destroyed us, but maybe we deserved it. I hope you find peace someday." I stared at the words until the screen dimmed. Then I turned off the phone and left it face down on the table. Grace called from the kitchen. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Just closing a window." She brought me tea. "To new ones opening?" "Maybe," I said. "Eventually." The city outside hummed with distant noise. Cars, rain, laughter from people who still believed in forever. I envied them a little. But envy was better than hate. It meant I still cared about living. Grace broke the silence. "What's next for you?" I exhaled slowly. "Work, sleep, maybe repaint the apartment." That's progress. Or distraction. Same thing sometimes. I looked at her, really looked. "Thank you." "For what?" "For staying when everything else collapsed." She smiled. "Someone had to keep you fed." I laughed quietly. "You did more than that." Later, when she left, I stood by the window watching her walk down the street, umbrella catching the glow of the street lights. I thought about how some people enter your life like storms and others like shelter. Clara was a storm. Grace was the first calm after it. As I turned off the lights, the apartment didn't feel empty anymore, just unfinished, like a story still finding its ending. I whispered to the dark, "Revenge doesn't heal you. It just stops the bleeding long enough to start living again." And for the first time in months, I believed it. It was a gray afternoon when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, Ethan stood there, thinner, older somehow. His eyes didn't shine the way they used to. "Hey," he said softly. I didn't move. "You shouldn't be here." "I know, I just needed to see you." The silence between us stretched. The rain outside filled it, soft and steady. Finally, I stepped aside. "Come in." He walked in like a stranger in his own home. His shoulders sagged as if gravity remembered him again. "Coffee?" I asked. He nodded. "Black's fine. I've had worse lately." I made it anyway, watching him from the corner of my eye. His hands trembled slightly as he sat at the table. When I set the mug down, he stared at it for a long time before speaking. "I lost her." I leaned on the counter. "Clara?" He nodded. "She left a month after everything. Said it wasn't supposed to end like this. That we broke something that couldn't be fixed." I didn't answer. He let out a dry laugh. "Guess she finally saw what I really am." "You mean what we all saw that night?" He winced. "Yeah, that." The quiet filled again. "I kept waiting for you to call," he said finally. "To scream, curse, hit me, something. But you didn't. That was worse." "I didn't see the point. I ruined everything, Daniel." "You did." He looked up, eyes red. "I'm sorry." The words hung there, heavy but sincere. "I didn't come for pity," he added. "I just needed to say it." "You deserved better." "Both of you did." I crossed my arms. "And what do you want me to do with that? Frame it?" "No, just hear it." For a while, neither of us spoke. The clock ticked like a heartbeat in an empty room. Finally, I sat across from him. "You know what hurts the most?" He looked at me, wary. "It's that I would have forgiven you back then, if you just told me the truth." His throat tightened. "I didn't think you'd survive it." I gave a hollow laugh. "I didn't, not the way I used to." He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I see that." He reached into his pocket, pulling out a photo, us as kids covered in mud after a storm. "Mom found this. Said maybe you'd want it back." I stared at it. My fingers didn't move. "Keep it," I said. "You need it more than I do." He blinked hard. "You really hate me that much?" "No," I said quietly. "Not anymore." That surprised him.
You don't?
"I used to think hate kept me strong," I said. "But it just kept me chained to you." "I'm tired, Ethan. I want to move on." He swallowed hard. "Then you forgive me?" I looked at him, really looked. The arrogance was gone. The charm, the easy smile, all stripped away. For the first time, I saw my brother. Not the rival, not the thief, just a man who finally understood what he'd destroyed. Yeah, I said softly. I forgive you, he let out a shaky breath. Thank you. Don't thank me, I said. It's not for you, he frowned. Then why? Because I don't want to carry it anymore. He nodded, understanding. Guess that's fair. We sat there until the coffee went cold. No more words left to fix anything, no apologies that could rebuild what was lost. But the silence didn't sting this time. It felt lighter. When Ethan finally stood to leave, he paused at the door. You ever think we'll be okay again? I smiled faintly. Maybe not what we were, but maybe something better. He nodded once. Take care, Dan. You too. When the door closed, I let out a long breath. My hands shook, not from anger, but release. Forgiveness wasn't a gift I gave him. It was the weight I finally dropped. The morning air carried that quiet chill that only comes after rain. I stood outside the cafe, hands in my pockets, watching the steam rise from the coffee cups through the window. Grace joined me a moment later, holding 2 mugs. Still like it black? Still pretending I do, I said, taking one. She smiled. Progress. We stood in silence for a while, watching the street wake up. Cars passed. Someone laughed across the road. It felt normal. How's work? She asked. Better, I said. They finally stopped treating me like I'm made of glass. Good. You were starting to sound like a ghost last time. I still have my moments. She looked at me carefully. And Clara? I let out a breath. Haven't heard from her in months. Guess she finally ran out of things to say. Do you miss her? The question lingered. I took a sip, felt the bitterness coat my tongue. I miss who I thought she was, Grace nodded. That's fair. We moved inside when the wind picked up. The cafe smelled of cinnamon and old wood. She found a seat by the window and I followed. You look lighter, she said suddenly. Lighter? Yeah, like you finally stopped carrying something heavy. I leaned back, watching the rainwater trickle down the glass. Maybe I did. Was it Ethan? She asked softly. In a way, she tilted her head. You forgave him, I did. Do you regret it? No, I said after a pause. It didn't fix anything, but it stopped the bleeding. Grace smiled faintly. That's what healing looks like, you know? Ugly and quiet, I chuckled. You make it sound poetic. It kind of is, she said. You survived something most people don't walk away from the same. Yeah, I murmured. But survival isn't the same as living. She studied me for a moment, then leaned forward. And are you living now? I met her eyes. I think I'm starting to. The sunlight began breaking through the clouds outside, spilling gold across the table. For a long while, neither of us spoke. The silence wasn't awkward, it was easy, earned. My phone buzzed on the table. A voicemail notification glowed on the screen. I didn't need to open it to know who it was from, Grace noticed. You gonna listen to it? I shook my head. No. Want me to delete it for you? I smiled. No, I'll do it. I pressed play for just a second. Her voice, Clara's, cracked through the speaker. Daniel, please. I just need to... I stopped it. Then without a word, I held the button down and deleted it. Grace watched me quietly. That felt good, didn't it? Better than I thought it would. She raised her cup. To clean slates, then, I lifted mine. To new mornings. We clinked our mugs, and for a moment, everything felt still. No ghosts, no echoes. Just the hum of a cafe, the scent of fresh coffee, and the sound of something beginning again. Grace smiled. So what now? I don't know, I said. Maybe I'll paint again. Maybe I'll take that road trip I kept putting off. She grinned. I'll hold you to that. Please do. Outside, the clouds broke fully, sunlight washing the street in gold. I watched people passing by, ordinary lives, ordinary joys. It didn't hurt anymore to see them smile. Grace nudged me. You're thinking too hard again. Just remembering, I said. Everything I lost, and everything I didn't, she tilted her head. And what's that? Myself, I said simply. I almost forgot who that was. Grace leaned back, satisfied. Then maybe that's the real revenge, I smiled faintly. No, that's the real peace. We finished our coffee in silence. When we stepped outside, the sunlight felt warmer than before. The air smelled clean. Sometimes losing everything is how you find yourself again.